We continue our conversation about safeguarding. Anne, how are you, Anne?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good, long time no see.
Yeah, it's always good to be back here.
Yeah, it's been a while. Clint, are you good?
I'm very good, thanks, Alton. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Good, good. How do you fit into this big picture? Tell us a bit about your involvement.
Just from where I come from, obviously, I work at SA Rugby. I'm the senior medical manager at SA Rugby, and my involvement here was I attended the conference in May. Following that conference, realized the importance of it, reported back to my CEO, basically just said, listen, we have to have a policy, put something in place. You know, we're part of, this, these issues don't skirt rugby. So then together with Debbie wanted to form a working group to put a policy together. I agreed to be on. CEO thought it was a good idea so we could stay close to what was required and learn more about it, and yeah, that's how I fit in. So I've been part and parcel of putting the draft SASCOC policy together.
How does it feel, I mean, coming from a massive organization like SA Rugby to be involved in something like this that's groundbreaking?
No, listen, I was surprised, it's taken this long, when you realize how important it is. And like I mentioned, like any sport, we're exposed. We got kids, we got vulnerable adults, we got female athletes that are exposed to coaches, referees, management, and it was frightening to realize we actually didn't have something in place. So I think more just relieving that I actually attended the conference, realized we need this, and then we took it back. Yuri Rue, our CEO, was very open to it. Straight away asked us to form a working committee, which is headed up by head of our legal. So we've got a working committee, busy putting our policy together now. So really driving it hard, not just paying lip service to it. We need it in place and want something up and running by next year.
Definitely, because you need to think of the amateur component and the professional. I mean, you got the scope is huge in rugby.
You put it this way: you got the amateur, you got the professional. But if you speak to Norman, this type of behaviour doesn't discriminate against amateur and professional sport. It's across both sports.
Definitely.
So we got to have structures in place to look after these kids and the vulnerable adults and the female athletes.
Definitely.
Very much so.
Is it gymnastics is ahead of the game, I believe, Anne? Tell us where you at?
Well, obviously gymnastics world was hit massively internationally, as Norman talked to. So it became very much on the radar. I attended a conference with the FIG in January last year, and we were talked to from Safe Sport International, and I came back and said to SAGF, this is imperative. We have to have a policy in place. And SA Gymnastics is not immune. We've had a coach who was, we've had 2 coaches convicted for paedophilia in South Africa. So it's not in our history. So we started working with Norman as our consultant on doing a safeguarding policy, which was signed in by our board in November last year. And now we're rolling out the implementation. So this weekend, Norman is going to be running safeguarding facilitators training so that each of our provinces have facilitators who will be able to teach safeguarding officers and all of the coaches everything around the safeguarding.
Has it been received well, or have there been negative and people holding back because it's something new?
So change is always difficult. I think the organization understands exactly why it's needed. More of the challenge is the fear of how do you implement. It seems like such a big thing. How do you suddenly bring all of this in? How does every club have a safeguarding officer? How does every single coach go through this training? How do you put all of these measures in place and do all the vetting and all of this type of stuff? And it seems like this overwhelming mountain that you have to climb. But we've been very strategic. We've formed a partnership with The Guardian, and they've really helped with the vetting processes. They've been at our national events. It's been really easy and quick for our coaches to go through everything. And they've been providing quite a lot of support. They've offered us support in how to deal with reporting. They have an amazing app that, you know, every coach and club can download, and people can anonymously report on it.
Oh, wow.
And then people can respond to the anonymous report, and it talks to the youth nowadays who just have their face in their phones.
What's
and
the app called, Anne?
It's called the Guardian app.
Okay.
And they've also offered us support in the fact that whilst this is also new for us, you know, and how do you deal with the reporting, they will offer their support on that. So it's really just communicating a simple way to do it. But for us, it's just not, it's absolutely compulsory. We have such a young average age in gymnastics, and we really have the majority of our members are vulnerable, and it's our duty to protect them.
But by protecting them, you need to have this policy in place and have the safeguarding officers right down at club level.
Absolutely, at every single level. It's not just about signing a policy, it's about doing the action. So making sure that you have the rule of two in place, that you are vetting all of your coaches, and that you're checking against the Child Protection Register and the Sexual Offenders Register. You know, it's essential.
And that's how we keep our sport clean, and that's how we keep our athletes in the best possible way and keep them protected. Am I right?
100% right. Spot on.
Clint, and thank you for your time.
Thanks,
Thank you for
Alton.
having us.
Really appreciate it.
Remember, coach 2 people if you are coaching with the opposite sex. We'll be right back. See you now.